Hi, good morning children. In our NS class of today, we are going to start a new lesson, that is nutrition in organisms. In this lesson, you are going to study about the food that the different organisms get from. You know very well that you get food from both plants and animals, isn't it? Then, how do the plants get their food? Who prepare the food for them? Your food is prepared by your mother, indeed. Then who will prepare the food for the plants and who will prepare the food for animals? So this is the doubt that you might be having, isn't it? Then what is the food that they take? How do they take their food? These are the questions that arise in every one of you. Let's find the answers to these questions. Okay children, let's start the lesson of nutrition in organisms. So now you should know what is nutrition. What is nutrition? Nutrition means the process of intake and utilization of the food. What is nutrition, children? The process of intake and utilization of the food is called as nutrition. This nutrition is of two types. One is autotrophic mode of nutrition and the other one is heterotrophic mode of nutrition. Once again I repeat, what is nutrition? Nutrition is the process of intake of food. That is intake and utilization of the food. Okay children, the process intake and utilization of the food. This intake and utilization of food is by whom? It is by the organisms. Intake of food and utilization of the food by the organisms is called as nutrition. Note, write down children. Make a note of this. The process of intake and utilization of food by organisms is called nutrition. So this nutrition, this process of intake and utilization is different in different organisms. So while some organisms they prepare their own food by themselves and some organisms depend on others for their food. So the process in which the organisms prepare their own food by themselves are called as autotrophs. In fact, plants are autotrophs. They prepare their food by themselves. So what are autotrophs? How many modes of nutrition is there? That's what you are going to learn now. Mode of nutrition or modes. There are two types of nutrition. So we say there are two types of modes of nutrition. One is autotrophic mode of nutrition and the other one is heterotrophic mode of nutrition. Autotrophic mode of nutrition and the second one is heterotrophic mode of nutrition. Heterotrophic mode of nutrition. Now you have understood what is nutrition and next how many types of nutrition is there. So nutrition means the intake and utilization of food by different organisms. It is called as nutrition. So it is of different types, that is one is autotrophic mode of nutrition and the other one is heterotrophic mode of nutrition. Where do you find the autotrophic mode of nutrition? We find the autotrophic mode of nutrition in plants. Auto means self. Auto means self and trophos means nourishment. Trophos means nourishment. So self-nourishment, self-preparation of food. In fact, plants prepare their food by themselves. How do they prepare their food? Now you are going to learn. Okay. And hetero. Hetero means others. Hetero means others. They prepare they depend on other organisms for their food. So animals, in fact, are exhibiting this type of mode of nutrition, that is heterotrophic mode of nutrition. So animals depend on plants and other animals, or even they depend on other animals, and some animals depend on both plants and animals too. In fact, they are known as heterotrophs, as they depend on other animals for their food, and their type of mode of nutrition is heterotrophic mode of nutrition. Now got it, children? So what is autotrophic mode of nutrition and what is heterotrophic mode of nutrition? Autotrophic mode of nutrition is the mode of nutrition in which the organisms prepare their food by themselves. In which the organisms prepare their food by themselves is called autotrophic mode of nutrition. Note down, children, in your notebooks. And in a similar manner, the mode of nutrition in which the organisms depend on other organisms for their food, it is called as heterotrophic mode of nutrition. First you write down this, next you are going to write about the heterotrophic mode of nutrition. The organisms which perform this type of nutrition are called as autotrophs. The organisms which perform autotrophic mode of nutrition, autotrophic mode of nutrition are called autotrophs. What are they called? They are called as autotrophs. Clear, children? So note down this point. Next we are going to write about the heterotrophic mode of nutrition. Note down, children. Next, here auto means self, trophos means nourishment, trophos means nourishment. So self-nourishment, they prepare their food by themselves. It is called as autotrophic nutrition, and the organisms are called as autotrophs. So as they prepare their food by themselves, they are called as autotrophs, and they exhibit autotrophic mode of nutrition. The organisms which perform autotrophic mode of nutrition are called as autotrophs. Okay, next coming to the heterotrophic mode of nutrition. The mode of nutrition, that is in which the organisms depend on other organisms for food. Previously you can write the example for autotrophs as plants. Okay, animals depend on plants and other animals for their food. Isn't it? nutrition in which the organisms depend on other organisms for food is called heterotrophic mode of nutrition. The mode of nutrition in which the organisms depend on other organisms for food or is called heterotrophic mode of nutrition. Heterotrophic mode of nutrition. Is it clear, children? Animals depend on plants and other animals for their food. The mode of nutrition in which the organisms depend on other organisms for food is called heterotrophic mode of nutrition. So animals depend on plants and other animals for food. So they are called as heterotrophs. Animals are called as heterotrophs. Plants are called as autotrophs. Animals are called as heterotrophs. Is it clear, children? Note down this now. Next, you are going to write a table based on the autotrophic mode of nutrition and heterotrophic mode of nutrition. Some of the parts I will be given for you and you have to classify them whether they exhibit autotrophic mode of nutrition or heterotrophic mode of nutrition. Complete this, children. And next, moving to the table number 1. So note down this in your notes, children. Table number 1. So what is I'll give you some of the organisms and list them into either autotrophic mode of nutrition or heterotrophic mode of nutrition. Okay, children? Okay, come on. Serial number. Name of the organism. Name of the organism. Next, prepare their own food or depend on other organisms for food. Prepare their own food. Prepare their own food or depend on other organisms. Depend on other organisms for food. So you will have to classify whether they prepare their own food or they prepare on other organisms. Sorry, they depend on other organisms for their food. And also based on this, you have to classify them whether it is autotroph or heterotroph. Okay, children? So inference. So from this you can conclude, that is called as inference, as whether it is autotroph or heterotroph. Autotroph or heterotroph. Is it clear? So now coming to the first one, I am going to give you the mango tree. What is a mango tree? Is it a plant or an animal? It is a plant, that is a mango tree. It has leaves in it, isn't it? So it prepared the food by themselves. Plants, as you know very well, green plants are autotrophs. They prepare their food by themselves. So here you are going to write, prepare their own food. Prepare their own food. Next, if they prepare their own food, is it an autotroph or heterotroph? So inference is, it prepares its own food. So it is an autotroph. is an autotroph. In the same manner, when I give you one after the other, the organisms, you have to mention whether it is an autotroph or heterotroph in this manner. Next one is cat. What will you write? Cat depend. What is the food habit of cat? First you have to know it. Okay. Cat eats rats and also milk, grains, etc. Isn't it? So it depends on either plants or animals for its food. So it is a it is a omnivore. It is a heterotroph. Is it clear? So it depends on other organisms, as it depends on other organisms for food. It is a heterotroph. What is it? It is a heterotroph. So in the similar pattern, you have to think and write. Is it clear, children? Next, I'll give you the name of the organisms, and in the other, whether it is a autotroph or heterotroph, you have to complete the table in this manner as a homework. Okay, children? Okay. Write down first this. Children, see the table on the board. Continue the table, children. Now the third one is rose plant. You have to write on your own. It is a plant. It has the leaves and it has chlorophyll to prepare its own food. So plants prepare their own food, isn't it? So they are called as autotrophs. You have to write in that manner as you have written earlier. Okay. Next, coming to mushrooms. Mushrooms, what are they? On what do they depend? When do you see the mushrooms, children, and where do you see them? First, you think of it. You see the mushrooms on decayed organisms, isn't it? Near the decayed matter or the logs or the moist logs or plants. You might be have seen the growth of mushrooms, isn't it? So, what do you understand? Mushrooms depend, they take in the dead and decayed organic matter for their food. So in fact, understanding from this, you can understand that the mushrooms, they do not prepare their own food. They do not have leaves also to prepare their food, isn't it? So they prepare their food, they cannot prepare their food and they depend on other organisms for food. So you can keep under heterotroph. Okay, children, how do they prepare their food? What is the type of mode of nutrition? I will tell you in the coming classes. Okay, next, leech. You know very well that leech, they suck the blood of animals, especially the buffalo. You have studied in the 6th class itself, isn't it? So leech depend on the blood, that is, it sucks the blood of the other animals. It takes its habitat on the skin of the animals and suck the blood of the animals with their mouth part called suckers, isn't it? So they depend on other animals for their food. From this, you can say that they are heterotrophs. Next, coming to goat. Goat it's a herbivore. It eats leaves. It depends on plants for its food. So it also depends on other organisms for their food. So it is also a heterotroph. Next, coming to the human beings. Human beings, you know very well that human beings depend on both plants and animals for their food. So they are heterotrophs. Okay, children. So in the similar manner, you have to complete the table number 1 for today. Okay. Next, answer the questions that I give you that is given under this table. After filling up this table, you can easily answer the questions that I give you. Okay, note down first this table and next write down the questions that I give you. Now, do all plants are autotrophs? The first question below this table, all plants are autotrophs or not? That is one of the questions that you have in your mind, that arises in your minds. Are all the plants are autotrophs? Do all the plants are Autotrophs. Autotrophs means they prepare their food by themselves or not. For this question, I say that it is no. No, all plants are not autotrophs. That is, the answer comes from in that some are saprophytic, that is, they depend on dead and decayed organic matter for their food. Some depend on insects. Like this, there are different types of food. There are insectivorous plants also, and some are saprophytes, some are insectivorous, some are parasitic too. So in fact, you will be going to learn about this type of nutrition in which the plants exhibit too in this lesson. Okay, so no, all plants are not autotrophs. You have to write the answer. Next, second question under this table is, what kind of nutrition is seen in mushroom? What kind of nutrition is seen in mushrooms? Especially now, after understanding this mode of nutrition as autotrophic mode of nutrition and heterotrophic mode of nutrition, you may see that mushrooms exhibit heterotrophic mode of nutrition. Again, heterotrophs are divided into four kinds. They are that is parasitic mode of nutrition, saprophytic mode of nutrition, symbiotic mode of nutrition, and insectivorous type. Okay, so in these four types of heterotrophic mode of nutrition, mushrooms exhibit saprophytic mode of nutrition, which is they depend on dead and decayed organic matter for their food. As they do not have leaves, they cannot prepare their own food, and chlorophyll also is absent in them since they do not have leaves. So they do not prepare their food. So where do the mushrooms get their food from? Mushrooms get the food from the dead and decayed organisms, and so they are called as saprophytes. The mode of nutrition exhibited by mushrooms is saprophytic mode of nutrition. That is one of the heterotrophic mode of nutrition. Okay, here you can write as heterotrophic mode of nutrition. Under that you can write as a saprophytic mode of nutrition. Okay children, so note down these two questions. Next, third question is, what kind of nutrition is seen in animals? What kind of nutrition is seen in animals? Since animals depend on other organisms for their food, the type of nutrition or the mode of nutrition exhibited by the animals is heterotrophic mode of nutrition. Note down it and write the answer carefully in your notes. So you have to write the answers for these three questions in your notebook below the table, and you have to complete the table also. Okay children? So next I'll tell you about the photosynthesis process. What is photosynthesis and how do the plants exhibit photosynthesis? So from this you have understood that green plants are autotrophic in nature, isn't it? So how you can say that they are autotrophic in nature? Because they prepare their own food. But animals and human beings are heterotrophic in nature. Mushrooms are heterotrophic in nature. Animals, they depend on other plants and animals, and human beings also depend both on plants and animals for their food. Okay, and we can say that organisms like plants and animals, they are interdependent on each other. So all the animals or the plants are interdependent on each other. Animals, they are directly or indirectly dependent on plants for their food. Okay, so how do the plants prepare their food? What is the reason for the greenery everywhere? everywhere. You will see that the forests are green in color, isn't it? They are green in color because the forest is completely filled up with the trees. Trees are green in color as they have leaves. Leaves are green in color because they contain chlorophyll. And in chlorophyll there is a pigment called, that is the plants have the chloroplast, so they are green in color, and in chloroplast there is a pigment called chlorophyll. Okay, so forests are green in color. You can see the forests are greenery because of the presence of trees. Trees are green in color because of the presence of leaves. Leaves are green in color because of the presence of chloroplast. So what do the chloroplast contain which gives the green color to the leaves? Chloroplast contain chlorophyll. What do it contain? Chlorophyll. It is a green colored pigment. Green color pigment. Green pigment called chlorophyll. Is it clear? So leaves are green in color because of the presence of chloroplasts which contain green pigment called chlorophyll. That is the reason leaves are green in color. So you might be getting the question as why are leaves green in color? Leaves are green in color because of the presence of green colored pigment called chlorophyll. What is it? It is the green colored pigment called chlorophyll. Okay, next. This chlorophyll, which is the organs called as chloroplasts, play a major role in the preparation of food for the plants. Okay, chloroplast, if you can see this as a picture, you can see on the board, children. Where do you find the chlorophyll or the chloroplast? Chloroplast you find in stomata. I have already told you. Isn't it? In knowing about plants last year, you have studied about the stomata in which there are guard cells surrounding the stomatal pore. Then you find the chloroplast inside the guard cells of the stomata. So they are arranged like this, children. Okay, these are chloroplasts. Okay, I'll show you now. See children, this is a chloroplast. We have already studied about the stomata, isn't it? What is stomata? They are the bean-shaped structure present in the leaves. They are small holes that are present in the leaves, isn't it? So they are numerous in number. They contain the guard cells, and inside the guard cells you can see the stomata. So you know very well the structure of the stomata, isn't it, children? So once again I'll show you the structure of the stomata and the presence of the guard cells above. So these are chloroplasts. This is the guard cell. This is stomatal pore. This is the bean-shaped part. Okay. So I am drawing it so that it is visible to you clearly. If you observe under the microscope, you can see the stomata in this manner. Okay, so this is a neat structure where you can observe the stomatal pore under the microscope. This is stomatal pore. When you observe the leaf under the microscope, you can see these parts. These are guard cells, bean-shaped structures, and inside you can see the chloroplasts. So the structure of the chloroplasts will be like this, attached to one another like this. Okay, so this is the structure of the chloroplast. So this, you have to draw the structure of the chloroplast also in your leaves. So leaves prepare their own food. From this you can understand that leaves prepare their own food with the help of the chloroplast present in them. So the chloroplasts are green in color because of the presence of the pigment called chlorophyll. And now next we have to understand how the plants prepare their food. What do they take in, from where they get their food from? This is the question to which the answer is to be found. Okay, so you know very well that your mother prepares the food for you. If it is a boiled rice, we can compare this preparation of food by the plants with the preparation of boiled rice. Okay, let's do it. What is it? I will show you through the table number 2. Write down the table number 2. See the table 2 of preparation of boiled rice and preparation of food by plants. When we compare these two, we can come to the conclusion of the part. See here, the raw materials that is required for the preparation of boiled rice. As you know very well, you require rice and water for the preparation of boiled rice. And preparation of food by plants, plants require water, sunlight, and carbon dioxide. And carbon dioxide from the air to prepare the food by the plants. Plants take in water and minerals from the soil through the roots, isn't it? You have studied in 6th class. And it uses the sunlight and carbon dioxide from the air, light from the sun and air, that is carbon dioxide from the air, and prepares its own food, isn't it? So, what is the source of energy for the preparation of boiled rice? The source of energy for the preparation of boiled rice is fire from stove. Energy, isn't it? Fire from stove. What is the source of energy for preparation of food by plants? It is sunlight. It is sunlight. Source of energy is sunlight. Next, coming to what happens in after when you keep the rice and water on the stove. So where do you prepare this boiled rice? In a vessel or a container, isn't it? What happens?